comes to bat and he stares the ball on his eye. He comes down the wicket and hits it for a six. The only anticlimactic thing that happened, मैंने सब कर दिया. I took my stance, I took my guard, full attitude के साथ I'm batting and all that, and then यार मैं bold हो गया. Very sheepishly, I just looked at Karan Anshuman, my director. I'm like, oops, do we have to do that all over again? So he was like, no, it's perfect. We'll just cut and we'll take that shot separately. What's up?
Yeah, everything is good. I was feeling a bit anxious before talking to you, and the reason behind this is because I am a big Splitsvilla and Roadies fan. And me and my brother grew up watching it, so I was a bit. So let's start the conversation, Tanuj.
Please, Hina.
Welcome to Asianet Newsables Entertainment segment. Everyone today, we have Inside Edge actor and Splitsvilla host Tanuj Virwani with us, the man who has proved that hard work is what truly shines. So Tanuj, how are you today?
Well, firstly, Hina, thank you for the wonderful introduction. That's really kind of you. Perfect start to my afternoon. I'm doing wonderful, and it's so nice, this the response I've been getting for Splitsvilla. To be honest, wherever I go these days, everybody's asking me, sir, अभी अगले डोम सेशन में कौन घर जाएगा? Sir, semi-finalist कौन है? Finalist कौन है? जीतता कौन है? And obviously, I have signed an NDA, and plus I want you guys to enjoy the ride. So, CIA levels, secrecy.
Yeah, that is so good. Tanuj, first of all, I want to start this conversation by congratulating you because you're soon going to be promoted to dad. So first of all, wishing you and your family all the best as you prepare your little one. Honestly, I know that you are happy and everything, but I really wanted to ask you, like, apart from so much love and the laughter that you're going to get, are you also prepared for a lot of sleepless nights after the baby arrives?
That's the question that I actually get asked a lot, and I honestly feel that's a very small price to pay. I think these past few months, ever since Tanya and me got married, to getting pregnant, and now we have a baby on the way, I think it's been almost surreal. It's been extremely special, and I just I'm looking forward to changing the nappies and having the sleepless nights and doing everything. I want to be very hands-on. Luckily, I have some of my friends who are already married, who already have kids. So they've been like kind of guiding the both of us that these are the do's and don'ts, and this is how you kind of navigate the entire thing. Yeah. And that's just made things a lot easier. And I also feel there's so much of material available online these days. So, like even for first time mothers and fathers, like it just helps you a lot, because there's so much that we need to learn. Sorry, my dog is in the way, he's hitting the stand. Yeah.
Now, absolutely loved your role in Inside Edge. Huge transition. Tell us a little bit about your journey, how it all unfolded for you. Because definitely it would not have been easy for a person who was shy and then, coming in front of the camera and acting and doing a lot of things. So, yeah.
So firstly, I'll have to start right from the beginning. So I'm a single child and I've had a very kind of comfortable life growing up. But I never had too many friends. I think part of the reason is because I was a bit of an introvert. I would not speak much to people. I had confidence issues. I had really bad skin. I would stammer when I was in school. So kids can be pretty mean, when you're in that phase between like 10 to 14 years old, kids can be pretty mean. So often I was not made to feel good enough and all, right? And then I think I started coming more to my own once I came to college. My confidence started, I started working on myself, and the middle, my mom had even sent me for elocution classes, because I think having a thought is not enough. How you express it to the person or the people in front of you is what actually matters, right? So that power of communication is very important, right? I mean, you two are in a field where communication is so important, so I'm sure that thought resonates with you as well. And then the plan is, I was never supposed to be an actor. I've always been fascinated by films and by the creativity that goes into making a film, but I always thought that, yaar, मैं actor कैसे बन सकता हूँ? Especially after my mom, who's been such a successful actor for so many years. I'm like, I'll get into writing, I'll get into direction, I'll do something behind the camera. So I started assisting just to get, because I think along with theoretical knowledge that they teach in the classroom, it's very important to have practical knowledge, especially in our industry. Like what you learn on set, that's just invaluable. And I think somewhere along the line, when I was like assisting for about a year and a half, 2 years, it just struck me that, I just feel like every time I started as a clapper boy, and every time I would give the clap, and I would see the actor transition from who they are in real life to who they are on camera, and then the moment the director says cut, they transition back to who they are in real life, and I'm like, this is magical. This is like this alternate reality, this make believe world, and it's amazing. So I'm like, yeah, ek try to banta hai. I should at least give it a shot. So that's how my entire thing started. Then I did a couple of movies, and initially I thought, okay, what could possibly go wrong? My mom's this famous actor, and like people seem to be quite excited that I'm making my Hindi film debut and stuff and all that. But I don't think I took it too seriously. I don't think I put in the effort that one requires to put in, and the results are there for all to see. Those films did not perform well at the box office. So then, by then, I knew that there's nothing else I want to do in my life apart from being an actor and doing substantial work. So I really took a few months off, and I'm like, okay, let's just go back to the drawing board. Let's see, what am I doing wrong? It's not just about what you're doing, it's about what you're not doing also sometimes. And I came up with a plan. I'm like, first you got to get a lot more fitter, you got to get a lot more focused. You have to have that hunger in your belly. Just because you come from a privileged background doesn't mean you wear that privilege on your sleeve. You leave that at home, because जब आप कैमरे के सामने हो, the audience does not care how many zeros you have in your bank balance. They are concerned with the work, with the authenticity and the sincerity that you bring to the screen. And around that time, I got the call for Inside Edge, which ironically back then was first called Kale, and then it was called Power Play. So technically, I tested for a show that was not called Inside Edge. It was called Power Play. And I auditioned for it, and a few days later, they called me up and said that, hey, listen, I think director's found his Vayu and we want you on board. So that's how the entire thing started. And I must also add that a lot of people were trying to tell me not to do it, because they're like, what is this OTT space? It's like YouTube material. You're here to be a film actor. You have a legacy to carry on with. Rati ma'am's been such a versatile actor across mediums. What is this YouTube content? And I'm like, the fact that Amazon is part of it, and Excel's part of it, and Richa and Vivek and Sharani and Angad, Sanjay Suri, all the guys, Sarah, all these guys from season 1, I'm like, they're not silly. They know what they're doing. And I think you want to populate yourself with people who you look up to and people who will bring out the best in you. And probably the best professional decision of my life. And once Inside Edge happened, I think my rise on the OTT space just kind of was parallel to everything that was happening in the OTT space as a whole, right? I mean, you saw things really blew up pre-pandemic, and then of course during the pandemic, because cinemas were shut for a long time and all, OTTs became the only way where we were all consuming our entertainment. So I guess you have to be at the right time at the right place, but you also have to be ready to put in the work consistently. ऐसे नहीं कि आप 2 दिन काम करो and उसके बाद you just like say, okay, now I have a right.
Tanuj, you said that there is nothing you could think of apart from acting in front of the camera and doing directing and writing also. But my question to you is, do you think that if these things would not have happened to you, like if you weren't an actor, if you weren't a director or a writer, what else do you think you would have pursued?
I definitely think it would be something creative. I'm not very. I mean, okay, so I am Sindhi, but I'm not a very business-minded guy. I think any sort of creativity, like I could see a painting, I could see the way food is presented, I could see architecture. Any kind of creativity is what really kind of gets me going, it spurs me on. So I feel perhaps if not an actor, then I would probably do something in advertising. In fact, I have a diploma in advertising. My first job in my life was at an ad agency. So perhaps you'd see me doing some copyright work over there.
Okay. How is the experience different from your acting work? Because it's quite different. It's a reality show. I'm not quite sure if it's a scripted or not, but it's definitely different from acting work, because here you have to present your true self. You have a lot of space to improvise. Tell us, what is the difference?
Number one difference: no retakes. As an actor, if I'm on set, if I fumble my line, if my co-star forgets his or her lines and all, we get the opportunity to go again. When you're on flow and you're shooting these shows, and the thing is, you guys are seeing it over a period of 3 to 4 months. We shot it in about like 35 days, start to finish. So every day it's an evolving beast, depending on what's happening with the contestants, the interpersonal dynamic, the different challenges, tasks, all of that stuff. And there's a lot of energy, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. As I believe you do watch the show, so you know, like, this whole gamut of emotions, right? So the number one thing that I promised myself, that I will not act on the show. whatever I'm feeling, if I want to smile, I want to laugh, I want to giggle, I want to chuckle, I want to shout at someone, I want to reprimand someone, जो भी मैं करूँगा, I will do it दिल से as myself. I'm like, you guys like my real life personality, my real life persona, so I need to bring that. I'm not playing a character. I'm myself. So that's the number one thing that I want to say. Secondly, I did have these preconceived notions because I don't have enough knowledge about reality television. But लोग कहते हैं कि अरे यार scripted होता है, ऐसा होता है, वैसा होता है. I can confidently say after having hosted the season that that is absolutely untrue because whatever was happening, was happening in front of me, and those real raw emotions that we experience on set every day, every night, every dome session, every dumping session was as real as it gets. So either those kids are the world's best actors and they fooled me, or there's nothing that's scripted on
I would say,
Splitsvilla.
like,
So
being a Splitsvilla fan, I'm really happy to hear this, that it's unscripted.
yeah, absolutely. It's completely authentic. It's very organic, and you know what the lovely part is actually, quite a few of the Splitsvillans like to keep in touch with me and stuff, over social media, over Instagram and all, and I see so many of them are still together, and I kept telling them, and even Sunny kept telling them that, yeah, see, at the end of the day, one boy and girl, one couple is going to win the show, right? But that does not make the rest of you losers. It's a show about love, about finding connections, and if you guys find someone of value or someone who's noteworthy and establish a good bond with each other, that's better than winning any competition.
Yeah.
And I've seen like quite a few of them are still, happy with their better halves, and yeah, it's a celebration of love. That's the way I look at it.
Girls and boys watching this interview out there, because you say there's this word called shipping in its Splitsnary, right? So what is the dating advice would you give to the girls and boys out there who is watching this interview?
Firstly, when it comes to all these Gen Z terms and all, they would like me to do these little segments on the side, and they're like, "Sir, you got to say benching, you got to say shipping, you got to say this, that," and I'm like, I have no idea what this means. Okay, I'm going to be 38 in November. We didn't grow up with this lingo. I feel like a freaking dinosaur, and they would sit me down and laugh, and they would explain to me, "Sir, ये इसका मतलब ये है." I'm like, यार तो ऐसा बोलो ना यार, ये क्या है यार, कुछ भी term को कुछ भी बना लेते हो. I'm starting to sound like an old man, I know, but jokes apart, I think the advice I'll give like all the young boys and girls out there, people who really look up to all the Splitsvillains or look up to shows like that, is that you got to learn. You got to learn where the contestants are right. You should follow them. Where they're wrong, you should also be like, that's something that I need to pay heed to. As a boy or as a young girl, I feel if you're authentic, if you're yourself, there's no pretense, there are no masks. That is what makes you truly unique. That's what I find attractive personally in anyone. The moment you're trying to fit in, it's unattractive because you're taking away that USP of yourself, which is that one uniqueness.
Yeah.
So I feel don't strive to just fit in, because we as human beings, as individuals, are meant to stand out, and that difference is what will make you stand out. So never curb your natural instinct, and that's what I would tell everyone. I'm like, यार ये गेम वेम मत खेलो, ठीक है, वो थोड़े चैलेंजेस में हमें भी मजा आता है ऑल, बट एक दूसरे के साथ ना पलट मत जाओ, गेम मत खेलो. Keep it authentic, keep it clean, keep it nice, and you will the universe will make sure you find your right connection. So whether it's on a show like Splitsvilla or whether it's in the real world, we've also had girlfriends and boyfriends, and we've dated from our college days and stuff and all that. The more you try, do this, क्या बोलते हैं, शूशागिरी ना, the more likely you are to end up by yourself only at the end of the day. Initially तो लोग आएंगे, but in the longer scheme of things, you need to be authentic. Authenticity is the most attractive trait in a human being. That's what I truly believe.
So now that you've mentioned your college days, so I want to talk about food, because I know that during your school days and college days, you used to have this particular specific places where you'd go and eat roadside snacks in Mumbai. So tell us a little bit about this. Like, what is your favorite food?
Oh man!
And also, I want to know, like, how do you balance your love for street food and also the demands of staying fit in the industry and looking so handsome?
Oh man!
So sleek.
It's actually a problem. It's a challenge that I wrestle with on a daily basis because I am a complete foodie. Actually, मेरे घर पे जितने भी लोग हैं, my parents, my wife, all of us love food. Like Indian, Oriental, Italian, Thai, Japanese, सब कुछ. We love food. But coming to our college days, it was a magical time. I love chaat. I love sev puri, dahi puri, any bhel puri, pani puri, right? Even though right now is not the ideal time, boys and girls don't have pani puri on the streets nowadays. Too many diseases out there during the monsoons. So there's so many places. Yeah, I used to live at Juhu back then. So there's a place called Sarkari Bandar. So in front of that, we used to have outside our college. We used to have this amazing fusion between Indian and Chinese, as we call it, Chindian, called Raju Chinese. Over there, they used to serve us this really unhealthy but amazing dish called Chinese bhel. So many things, like, I mean, it's just like talking about it to you right now is making my mouth water. We used to get these triple decker sandwiches at this place at Juhu called Celebrations. We used to have this amazing Szechuan paneer freaking dosa on Carter Road. Like things you've not even heard of. It's amazing. So yeah. So now, of course, I do it from time to time. In fact, recently, so I come from Bombay Scottish School, which is at Mahim, and it's a very famous Frankie guy right across our school called Shrees. It used to be like a haunt. सब बच्चे स्कूल के बाहर स्कूल से पहले वही आके chill करते थे. So I was driving past, and these days we don't pass Mahim too much because ceiling is there, right? But I had some work in that area, so I drove past, and I'm like, यार एक Frankie तो बनता है. So I had a Frankie. And it just sometimes when you have a dish, it just takes you back to that moment or that particular phase of your life, and it made me almost emotional. I'm like, oh my god, I was like a 13, 14-year-old kid wearing shorts and a tie and outside this gate, and now I'm going to be 38. I'm married. I'm having a kid. Like, wow, life is a trip, right? So there's so much. And coming to the next part of your question, how do I manage to stay fit? I mean, nothing in excess, everything in moderation. Kabhi kabhar, it's easier said than done. But this is a very visual medium. So if you notice, I'm not someone who has like a six-pack or an eight-pack or like rippling muscles or whatever. I feel health is a combination of your physicality as well as your mental health. And I think for that, if you enjoy playing a sport, like I love playing cricket in real life as well. So I play a lot of cricket. I love swimming. I love doing cardio. I love running. I love cycling. So I try and do a lot more of these things. And of course, a certain amount of weight training is very, very important. You have to be consistent. You have to have a regime. You have to jot it down. Okay, there's 7 days in a week. If I take 1 day off, the remaining 6 days, there must be some of the other physical activity. And just eat in moderation. Don't, like, sometimes I make a fool of myself. I eat in a smaller plate. So I automatically think I'm eating. So I don't take a second helping, but the plate's actually smaller. So वो खुद को मैं उल्लू बना देता हूँ. So I do these things. I'm sure we all do it. I'm sure it's very, very relatable and all. And people don't believe me when I say that I've never had a protein shake, man. I just think that you need to find natural proteins, and you'll know when you're healthy. You just know that. There's sorry to say, but we live in very complicated, complex times. Like especially in a big city like Mumbai. Everyone's part of this rat race. Everyone wants to go out there and give it their best and do it their best, even within our industry. So it's very important that you need to find that time for yourself. You can meditate, you can chant, you can do some yoga. Stretching is very important. So many things, but that is what helps you center. We can either be our own best friend or our worst enemy. It is entirely in our hands.
When we talk and when I watch you in your interviews, you reflect this, philosophical outlook on life. I feel that. I truly feel that. And I think it also comes from, the fact that you have had your failures, which really helped you to look at things from a broader lens. What do you have to say about this? And especially, I want you to, answer this question for aspiring actors who may fail at some point of time in their careers.
Firstly, I want to say that, and I can speak for myself personally, that I've actually learned a lot more from my failures than I have from my successes. And I'll explain to you why. Because when there's success around you and you're doing well and you can do no wrong and anything you touch turns to gold, you are not looking at your flaws. And every human being is flawed. Each of us make good decisions and bad decisions. But all of that gets masked because the going is good. But when you're failing at stuff, it's not like when I did my first couple of films, I was a terrible actor and suddenly I did Inside Edge and suddenly people are like, yaar, kya acting karta hai? It's just that maybe I was not centered right, maybe I didn't pick the right role, maybe the right role didn't pick me, and maybe I was not able to understand how I need to portray that certain character. If I go back and if I had to portray certain characters I have in the past, I'm pretty sure I would play them fairly differently because we keep evolving, right? Change is the only constant, whether it is for an artist or whether it is for a person as a whole. So I think failure has actually taught me a lot more than success, and that is the one important thing. When I see young boys and girls and they go out there and they get even a little bit of success, and I start seeing it go to their head, I'm like, this is a warning sign. This is a dangerous, because you have to be even more humble when you're successful. You have to be even hungrier, more desperate. And when I say desperate, desperation is not always a bad thing. Desperate, that hook, that fire in your belly should be there. That I want to be the best version of myself. I'm not competing with someone else. If I look to compete with any of my other peers or any of my other seniors and all that, I'm going to fall short, because I can never be better than them, because I will be doing their knuckle. I need to strive to be the best version of me, myself, Tanuj Virwani, as simple as that. And I think that's what many people need to pay heed to. Because no one can do you better than you yourself can. You know yourself the best, you know yourself inside out, you know what you need to conduct a SWOT analysis. You need to look at yourself as not as just an actor, but as a commodity. What are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats? Keep doing this every few months, because it is constantly evolving. And that will give you razor sharp clarity, because till you don't understand where you need to go, you'll just be like one headless chicken running around everywhere. There's no point doing that, I'm not here to be a jack of all trades. I'm here to be a master of one. And that one is acting. Everything else comes second.
Yeah. So I hope that Tanuj Virwani
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just to answer the second part of your question.
Yeah.
To all the young aspiring actors and actresses out there and stuff and all that, yes, it is a very glamorous industry. It looks amazing from the outside. I too have felt that before I joined the industry. The industry is a great place, but it's a tough business, because there's a lot of competition. There are a lot of people, there's a lot of talent in our country, coming in from our country, coming from all corners of India, and now even from abroad. You need to make sure that you are consistent. If you're giving your auditions, be consistent about that. If you're taking care of your health, your physical, your mental health, give it your best. I don't personally adhere to the fact that you need to be seen at every party and networking is super important. Your work will speak for you. Your work is your best audition. So always remember that. Just focus on your process. If you are focusing on the results that I want to be a star and I want to be the next Ranbir Kapoor and I want to be the next Shah Rukh Khan, that's not the way to go about it. Ranbir Kapoor and a Shah Rukh Khan have really worked their asses off to get to where they are and to stay where they are and to continue to grow day by day, month by month, year by year. You need to focus on your process. And that is something that is entirely in your hands. And if you're able to do that, well, sky's the limit.
Great. So I think that you answered the question for the aspiring actors. And after so much of heavy learning from Tanuj Virwani, let's go for a rapid fire round. I have just jotted down a few questions for you. And,
but first, Hina, tell me, where's the hamper? What do I get if I answer well?
I'll send it to you. Please text me your address. I'll send it to you.
Done. You got it. Let's go.
All right. So my first question is, if you could star in any historical movie, which figure would you choose to portray?
Oh, this is a very interesting one, because I've actually been wanting to do a period piece. I haven't got the opportunity as yet. I think anything from maybe the Mughal era is something that I really resonate with. I think it was a very fascinating time in our history. So probably if I got to be part of Jodha Akbar or something like that, that would be a real massive tick off my bucket list.
We'd love to see you there. Which Indian film or actor has inspired you the most in your career? First movie and first actor who has inspired you so much?
First movie that really inspired me to become an actor was Sholay. I think that is the perfect film in every way, from a direction point of view, from a story and scripting point of view, and most certainly from an acting point of view. There's so many memorable characters, so many memorable dialogues in that film, and it has aged very well. Certain films are just like amazing. Like it's timeless. It's a classic. And I feel every time I revisit Sholay, because my perspective has changed, I've become a little older, and also I look at certain things which I had not paid heed to. So I think Sholay is the greatest film of all time. Chahe wo Hindi ho, English ho, ya koi bhi language mein ho. When it comes to the actor that has inspired me the most, I think I grew up as a massive SRK fan. I still am a massive SRK fan, and just to see his rise, he started off with the turns and the Bazigars, and then you have the DDLJs, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, and everything that followed after that. Even now, even at 57, the way he's reinventing himself after being part of the industry for 30-35 years, it's absolutely phenomenal. And it just gives youngsters and even not so youngsters, but middle-aged people a lot of confidence that, man, it does not, age is just a number. You can make your body at whatever age you want to, you can be whoever you want to, you just have to believe. And I mean, I'm a massive fan. From the current crop of actors, most certainly would be Ranbir Kapoor. I think it's very easy to say that, oh, but he was destined to be a star. Look at the lineage, the blue-blooded Kapoor. All that's okay. We've had many children of massive celebrities who have not been able to get anywhere close to the success that he has achieved, because he has found a perfect way, perfect marriage between art and commerce, something which is very, very difficult to do. His choices are constantly amazing. I'm not just talking about the movies that do well. I remember very early on in his career, he had the tenacity to do a film like Rocket Singh, and Rocket Singh was much ahead of his time. Many, many films like that. He did a Tamasha when he could have just done another, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani sort of thing. Very, very complex roles he does, and I feel even Animal that came out recently.
What is the most challenging scene you have ever had to shoot?
The most challenging scene.
I'm guessing
I think
the
it's
walk
the iconic scene.
of the
I think,
inside.
I think this is. Yes, most certainly. I think it was challenging for a number of reasons, because when I read the script, it just said Vayu comes out to bat. Okay, that's all. It was one line. And that one line turned into more than 4.5, 5 minutes of a non-stop, unbroken shot, right? And I got to know that on the day of shoots. And, because it was also very technical, and at the same time, I didn't want to lose character, because that's the first time the audience is seeing me, like, Vayu in all his glory on the show. And, so I had to hit my mark. I had to make sure I say the dialogue at the right time. I had to make sure I come and I take my guard. And script mein aisa likha tha that he comes to bat and he stares the bowler in his eye. He comes down the wicket and hits it for a six. The only anti-climactic thing that happened, मैंने सब कर दिया. I took my stance, I took my guard, full attitude के साथ I'm batting and all that, and then यार मैं bold हो गया. So very sheepishly, I just looked at Karan Anshuman, my director. I'm like, oops, do we have to do that all over again? So he was like, no, it's perfect. We'll just cut and we'll take that shot separately. But that was very memorable. And of course, shooting at a real international cricket stadium. We were shooting at the MCA Pune Stadium, and there were actually at least 300 to 400 people in the crowd. And of course, we multiplied that in post and all. Just the entire thing was magical. And it was probably the closest I've come to where real and real kind of blend together. You don't know where one ends and the other begins. So that was my most creepiest day ever on a set, and yeah, probably one of my more difficult scenes to perform. Yeah.
Lovely to get a sneak peek of behind the scenes.
Yeah,
what happened.
absolutely.
Okay, my next question to you is, if you could collaborate with any director in the world, who would it be?
Sriram Raghavan, Anurag Kashyap, Rajkumar Hirani, Karan Johar. These are some that spring to mind. Of course, there are many, many, many more. But I love the kind of cinema that Sriram Raghavan makes. Like, I mean, there's not a film of his that I haven't watched and rewatched and studied. And I just think it's amazing. I grew up reading these novels called James Hadley Chase, and I feel many of his films have a very James Hadley Chase vibe to it. I love his movies, and it would be an absolute honor and a privilege to be part of that world someday. Yeah, sending good energies out to the universe.
Okay, so how does Tanuj Virwani unwind after a long day on set?
I mean, I just I'm quite a homebody. I like coming home, spending time with my family, my wife. I've got lots of dogs, so they give us a lot of love. Just eating a nice meal, having a glass of wine, just making good conversation, and yeah, I'm a cinephile. I love watching movies, so हर रोज मैं at least एक film तो देखता ही हूँ, या one episode of a show. Yeah, just the basic stuff, So yeah, just whatever it takes to unwind. I love getting wet during the rains. I think that really weirdly makes me unwind, just dancing in the rains and stuff. So,
with such a beautiful backyard which you have in your house in Lonavala, I'm pretty sure that you'd love to get wet.
Oh man, I think that place is a blessing, and it's especially right now during the monsoons, it's literally like heaven on earth, and I love spending time there. So yeah.
Great. So Tanuj, with this, I'm going to wrap up this interview, and thank you so much for getting connected for this quick chat with us. And just one final question I want to ask: any sneak peek which you want to give to us of any upcoming project or upcoming film, web series?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, so as an actor, I strive to try and do different work across web and film. This has been a particularly important and exciting year for me because I had my first Dharma film, Yodha, that came out in March, and the first time I'm hosting, which is Splitsvilla. I'm currently shooting for the second season of Rana Naidu. I'm a big fan of that show, so really excited to see how that comes together. I've got a film called Johnny Jumper with Vijay Raz, Vijay Kala, Zakir Hussain, Zarina Wahab, where I'm playing the title character Johnny Jumper. So I can't speak much about what the film's about, but I had a lot of fun doing that. I've got this other project with one of my favorite actors, KK Menon, called Murshid. It's a father-son story. That's also going to be out relatively soon. I recently wrapped filming on an untitled applause show with Rahul Dev, and I've done this cute little rom-com called Puppy Love with Rida Chaudhary, Nikita Ambuli, and Divya Agarwal. So these are some of the things we've got in the pipeline. God willing, they come out soon, and I hope that you guys watch it and enjoy it. Yeah, because the more y'all encourage me, the more it gives me the confidence that I should do something hatke. I always tell myself I don't want to get like stuck doing the same kind of projects. So yeah.
Yeah, we would love to see you in different avatars. Thank you so much for getting connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hina. Thanks a lot.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.